The comic starts out in the Fortress of Solitude, as Clark spends his first night with Lois, after having ice tape in his system. Meanwhile, in Gotham, a group called Intergang have started to sell weapons to local crime gangs, but they are quickly met by Nightwing and Batman, who learn of Joe Chill's involvement. The next morning, Superman rescues a school bus, which has been taken hostage by a criminal. Superman quickly learns that LexCorp may have been behind the teleport device that the criminal was wearing. In the crowd are Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon, who meet with Lex Luthor for lunch. Bruce discusses plans for a super collider and is finding companies to help him with it. But Lex Luthor declines. Superman interrupts the meeting to question Lex about the teleport device, leading him to the Toyman and Stryker's Island. Meanwhile, Mannheim, last seen in Season 4, is interrogated at Stryker's by Batman, which prompts Superman to face him. Batman blasts Superman with red sunlight, revealing Batman has known about Superman and his power sets for a while. Nightwing goes after Mannheim and is stopped by Green Arrow, who enters the scene. After the battle, Superman interrogates Mannheim, learning that Joe Chill was hired as a consultant for Intergang. Superman then goes after Batman, revealing the information he learnt, and proposes a joint partnership. Oliver goes to confront Lex after discovering that Lex has been making a series of calls to him. This is later to be from Tess. Elsewhere, Batman finally confronts Chill, but they are soon interrupted by Prankster and Mr. Freeze. The duo proceed to open fire on the two heroes, forcing them to split up, with Batman ironically taking Chill. Superman is shot by kryptonite bullets in the ensuing conflict. Meanwhile, Oliver and Chloe receive more emails from Tess and use it to track Superman down. However, Lex learns that Tess has been controlling his body. Batman finds Chill dead and Superman dying. In order to save Superman, Batman calls in the Batmobile, leading to a car chase with both the police and the Metropolis heroes. Batman desperately tries to save him, and manages to reverse the red sunlight and making it into pure sunlight. Elsewhere, Freeze and Prankster reveal they have placed a tracker and now know where Batman and Superman are. Clark wakes up from his injuries and meets Barbara Gordon as well as Bruce. He and Bruce then go after Freeze and Prankster. Oliver is interrogated by the police and is then busted out by Chloe, who clears him of all charges. Intergang swarms in on Barbara and Lois's location, whilst the prankster double-crosses Freeze. Things quickly begin to escalate when Prankster hijacks a set of planes all armed. Batman and Superman meet up with Prankster, who reveals Freeze is about to go nuclear. This again forces Batman and Superman to split up to take the two villains down. Green Arrow attempts to stop Freeze, however he goes nuclear anyway, freezing a nearby plant. Superman defeats Prankster, but learns about the planes in the process. Batman manages to take out Freeze. As As two bombs begin to be fired on Batman's boat, can Superman save Barbara Gordon and Lois in time? Now, Smallville Detective is the introduction of Batman to the Smallville universe. The reason why we never got Batman in Smallville was because whilst the show was going on, Nolan was doing his Batman trilogy, and basically Nolan said that as long as he's doing the Batman character, nobody else could use the characters from Batman, which was fair enough. Obviously, because Batman and Superman's relationship is so important to both of their characters, Smallville never had that interaction before. But because with the comics, you could basically do whatever the hell you want, we finally got Batman. And Batman is pretty good. He's not amazing. Like don't be expecting, Nolan, Snyder, Morrison level Batman story. Because it's Smallville, guys. Really. But mind you, this comic still continues to be very, very good. But what I liked about Batman is Batman was very, very involved in the story. And basically in the flashbacks we learn that Batman discovered the Kryptonians and discovered how to fight Kryptonians. And basically because of what happened in Season 9, it led him to find out Clark Kent's weaknesses, i.e. the Red Sun weakness that Clark Kent has. And I really, really liked that about this Batman, is that this Batman was more of a detective. He was willing to find out stuff, and we saw him sort of learn and use what he learnt in this story. And I also liked the fact that in this story, we saw Joe Chill. Joe Chill is the character who killed Bruce Wayne's parents. And Joe Chill's, and how Joe Chill is introduced in the story is really, really interesting. And it sort of gives that personal vendetta that Batman would have if he ever saw Joe Chill again. And we did see many, many of the Batman mythology in this story as well. I also found it was very, very interesting that we do get a Nightwing in this story. But Nightwing is not Dick Grayson. It's Barbara Gordon. Now, say what you will about that kind of interaction, but I personally didn't mind Barbara Gordon as Nightwing. Obviously, I would have preferred Dick Grayson, but yeah, Barbara Gordon did a good job in the story. I also like how Superman and Batman sort of played off against one another. Because their relationship is probably perhaps one of the most interesting relationships that you can ever see in the DC universe. their friendship is actually in no matter what incarnation you're reading, whether it's Injustice, whether it's current continuity, pre-New 52, or in the movies, although we haven't found that out yet. Batman and Superman's interactions is so great because they're so different. Superman and Batman's ideals yes, there are similarities in their ideals, but they go about them in very, very different ways. And that is very, very present. And that is present in this comic book. I also like the interaction between Batman and Oliver Queen. Because people who have often compared Green Arrow to Batman have often said that Oliver Queen is a poor man's Batman. And their interaction is just really good. Basically, Batman fits very, very well into the Smallville universe. The villains. The villains were, okay. They weren't anything special. Like, we get Prankster and we get Mr. Freeze. Probably perhaps two characters who would never ordinarily be put together. But the Prankster has a very interesting relationship with the toy maker. And this is where my problems start to kick in. In season 10, the toy maker set up in Justice League. Basically the evil versions of the Justice League. None of that pays off. And it's so annoying. Because the toy maker's presence in this book is still good. But because they didn't use any of the Injustice League, I think he just sort of had, like, oh, the toy maker's here, but where's that, in Justice League that he sort of formed to defeat characters like Superman and Batman. So that was kind of annoying. Another nitpick that I have was Chloe Sullivan. Chloe Sullivan in season 10 said that she had met characters like Wonder Woman and Batman. And I kind of felt, well, where is that reveal? Because it doesn't seem to because the Smallville universe does make it sound like that never happened. All in all, I would give this comic about a 4 out of 5. It's very, very good. It's a good introduction to Batman. But there are a few problems. So, I'm Robin One here, and I shall see you all later for another comic book review. Bye.